Good afternoon, Jason Shepard here with the Anchor Room. Today we're going to talk about the tools needed for this installation. This is a general tint installation video, and in front of you you're going to find a microfiber towel, a felt tip squeegee, application fluid, which is 1 milliliter of baby shampoo to 32 ounces of water, and just that also by itself, water in a spray bottle on the right hand side. The reason we are going to use application fluid and water: application fluid is soapy water, so we can place the item on the vehicle, position it to where we want it. Then we will use the water by itself to wash out any soap residue to get the item to stick. One item not shown in this installation is the actual heat gun itself, which may be required for tapering edges. Alright, today we have the Ford Focus here, and once again Ford put the amber reflector right here on the side of the lens, which really detracts away from the beauty of the car. We make a piece for a few other cars that covers this up with a piece of tint, as we have for this Ford Focus. If you see the natural contour of the lens, we follow that. There's actually a separation line. The piece that we make is actually going to follow the ridge and that separation line and fall perfectly on the lens. The lens has already been cleaned. I'm going to spray the lens itself and the back side of the tint piece heavily with application fluid. Then we're going to use this back ridge to line everything up. Make sure that the back side is also even. The application fluid, as mentioned, of course, gives us the ability to reposition. And once you level or line up the back side and the rearmost piece, everything else pretty much should fall right in line. We're going to just double check, make sure that it follows that contour and it lays flat on the bottom of the lens. But when it does, you should be good to go. Alright, once we're at this point, we're going to take a squeegee, felt tip preferred, make sure that the excess application fluid is out, and we're of course going to use a heat gun also to taper the edges. You can also use a yellow Turbo Flex, which is actually one of my favorites. It really does a great job at making sure the lens does not get scratched, at the same time making sure that all the application fluid is removed from behind the lens. So you see a finger there, you see a couple of fingers there, and that's what we're going to use a heat gun for today. Using the heat gun obviously contours the material to the lens, as well as removing any excess application fluid, so it kind of does a double duty. You can tell when you apply heat that finger just falls away. I apologize if my finger's in the way, my hand's in the way. I'm going to try to show you as much of this as I can. Another tip is to keep that top of the lens wet with application fluid, giving the squeegee the opportunity to glide across, obviously. Always work from the center out. In this case, as you can tell, I'm just using my thumb. Sometimes also, to make it gliding a little easier, you can use a microfiber towel. And what you're really just doing is splitting the difference between the fingers, as we call them. Contouring it to the lens, as I mentioned, and helping the evaporation process. This spot right here around the bend is probably the most difficult. Remember to be patient with a little bit of heat. And like I said, splitting the fingers, you should have no problem laying it flat. But be patient. You can always lift if you need to. Nothing's permanent. So the back and the top are kind of done already. As you can tell, I've made it around the bend. I'm going to continue to work. I'm going to switch hands here real quick so you can probably see a little better. So a little bit of heat. As you notice, I lifted earlier. You continue to do that whenever you need to. Things are starting to fall right in place. Make sure with the heat gun that you don't stay in one spot too long. It's kind of an on-off process. And of course, obviously make sure you don't burn the car either. Now the liquid I keep spraying is obviously on the outside and has no effect on the underside of the lens, but it's most certainly making my job a lot easier by giving my thumb something as a lubricant to glide over the surface. And with most of our materials that we sell, I just want to mention that they're cut slightly oversized to make sure you have the opportunity to taper around the lenses so that absolutely everything is covered like it should be, and you don't have any parts of that lens showing that obviously are going to be ugly. As you can tell, the whole lens lays flat. A couple of minor details we want to pay attention to is we want to wrap the back side, the front side slightly under, and then the whole top ridge is going to go around the corner. Again, how you want to do that is just apply a little heat and then just contour it around. Alright, so I think the lens looks pretty good. I'm going to work around the top side real quick. With a microfiber towel, it's kind of nice too. You can kind of make your own tool out of it. I'm shaping it. I'm going to go around the lens. Apply a little heat. Remember, not too much. And you can of course use your squeegee also. And we do the back side. And last but not least, this piece underneath. And as you can tell, you're going to end up with a beautiful lens. The amber corner is not so obvious anymore. Kind of gives a little bit of a blackout effect. Exactly what we're looking for. There we go.